next we will be discussing one-way ANOVA test. It is a statistical test which is used to compare the means of 3 or more independent groups. So in t-test we had 2 groups and 2 independent groups, and in ANOVA test we have more than 2, like 3 or more independent groups. So it basically determines if there are any significantly statistically significant differences among the means of multiple groups. So it is useful in experiments with multiple treatment conditions. So a one-way ANOVA test, if there are significant difference among the means of multiple independent groups, and for example, we can say if we are comparing the effectiveness of 3 different diets on weight loss. So, but in this scenario, we are taking some some example from biotechnological research. So the scenario is, as we have taken the example in t-test. Here the example is, for example, you are testing the effect of 3 different compounds, which is compound A, compound B, and compound C, on the activity of some enzyme, let's say. And you have treated the cells with each compound and measured the enzyme activity after 24 hours for all the 3 compounds. So we have this hypothetical data, and we will be using this data to perform the one-way ANOVA. So again, this is the similar column data. So in the start, when we open our Graphpad Prism, so we have these options, as I have discussed earlier in earlier lessons. So for t-test, we have selected column, and we put our data in 2 of the columns, because t-test applied to 2 independent groups. And for for ANOVA test, we again select this column option, and then we create our table. So we add our data for more than 2 and 3 and more than 3 independent groups, so that we can apply our ANOVA test. So again, we will go on analyze. So we have our data arranged, and we will go to analyze button, and then we will select this one-way ANOVA. So if you apply t-test, it will give you this error that you are trying to analyze 3 or more groups. To compare all the groups, use one-way ANOVA, and to compare just 2, select those 2 columns in analyze data dialog. So I mentioned in the t-test lesson that if you want to compare only 2 among 3, then you can deselect the one you don't want to compare, and then now you can apply t-test, you see. But if you want to apply ANOVA, you have to select all of 3 and more than 3 groups. So then we will go to one-way ANOVA, we will select OK, and then it gives you many other options. So you can just go with the default settings, I think, and you can click OK. So again, it has analyzed your results, and this is the analysis summary, ordinary one-way ANOVA of data 2. So then again, we have this ANOVA summary, which says p-value is less than 0.0001, and p-value summary, which is 4-star significant, and yes, the significant difference among means among the groups is yes. And you have this all the summary. So ANOVA summary is this: you have f value, this p-value, and r square value. And if you want to go with all other tests, which is Brown-Forsyth test, and this is Bartlett's test, and so on. So you can explore all of these, but the main significance results are mainly considered, which is p-value summary. So again, we will go to our graphs section, and we can make different graphs from here, and individual values, box and while, and mean, median, and error. So the graphs which are taken are column graphs and line graphs. So we will go with the default one, which is this, and again we will be we can edit our graphs. Okay, also when you will go to analyze button, and you will select one-way ANOVA, and you have selected all the 3 columns, then you will get this multiple comparison. You will go to multiple comparisons bar, and you will get these options. So if you have some control values in some column and others are experimental groups, and you want to compare them with the control, so here you will have that option which says compare the mean of each column with the mean of every other column, or you can compare each column with every other column. But if you want to compare with the control, then you will be selecting the control column, and here you can select which one is control. So for example, I say let's say column C is control, so you will be selecting this option here, and you will select OK, and it will be analyzing your results with the control menu. And here in the below bottom of the Graphpad Prism, you will at first you will only get this ANOVA results option, but when you will be having multiple comparisons, and you can go and so in ANOVA results, it is giving you general results overall, but in multiple comparisons, it will give you each comparison and each significant summary with the column graph. So we selected C as our control group, so it is giving us C versus A and C versus B. So it is significant 4-star and it is significant 4-star. So this is important for one reason, that when we are making our graph, so we have to put our stars, how many stars significant these comparisons are. So for example, we have performed this multiple comparisons, so we will be putting our stars on our bars. So we have taken C as our control. So for putting the star, for that you have to go to this draw option on the toolbar, and you have to click this drop down menu, and you will have these shapes and lines with text option. So in the last lines with text option, you have these bars. You as you can if you must have seen in the research papers, the stars that are put on the graphs and bars. So here we can select this common one, and we will be drawing this on the bar. So for example, among A and C, there was a 4-star significant difference, so we will draw this line, and here we don't have 4 stars, so the 3-star is also a significant difference. We can put it here, and then we can drag and drop on